Happy holidays, everyone. I am back with another video with day one. And today I am working on some photos of me and my daughter by the Christmas tree and putting the Christmas tree up. And then I'm also going to be working on a pocket page for my daughter, or where my daughter is pulling some things out of her advent calendar. So this one, I'm going to be using that little vellum bag, or that what is it called, glassine bag that I had got in a Ali Edwards kit, and I just took the little sticker that was on it off, and I'm going to just punch holes in it and add it directly to the rings of the album. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to glue these two photos together, and then I'm going to use this tab so I have some way to be pulling it out of the pocket, because the pocket's a little bit deeper than 6 inches, so I don't want it to be too lost down in the pocket, and I want it to be easy to be pulled out of the pocket when it is an album. So I'm just going to add this little plaid, little piece of paper here. I think that paper came from maybe the Simple Stories or a Simple Stories collection that I might have used maybe on my first or second December daily. So I'm just gluing these two photos together. I have been printing, or I always print my December daily photos on my my Epson PictureMate. I really like it, and this is pretty much the only way I would ever get anything done in December daily is if I had my own printer, because if I had to wait for photos, it would be way past December and I would be over it by then. So I'm really glad that I have that Epson photo printer to use. It prints 4x6 and also prints the 5x7, so it's perfect for this particular kind of project. Here are some die cuts from, I believe, a Project Life little kit, a Christmas kit. And I'm just going to glue this cute little tree down, and I had a little star sequence from an Ali Edwards kit that I'm going to glue down on the tab. Keeping this pretty simple since it is going to be in the pocket, and I don't want a bunch of things to get snagged when you're trying to pull it in and out of the pocket. For this side, I'm going to pull out some word strips from Ali Edwards, one of her December daily kits, and I'm just figuring out which one I think will work best. So I pick Deck the Halls. It seemed appropriate since my daughter's putting a Christmas ornament on the tree. I'm just going to snip that out, and I'm going to put little flag ends on it so it looks like a little banner. And then I'm going to glue that down. And then I am going to audition a couple different little snowflakes. I end up using just one of those. That was from a sticker sheet that I used last year for my junk journal December daily. And they had all these little bitty tiny snowflakes on the sheet, and I thought that just this one would look nice. I didn't really like the three. So I just added that little guy there, and then I will glue down the word strip. And that card is all done. So that's going to fit really nicely in that little pocket. And next I'm going to work on the outside of the pocket. I'm trying to figure out how I want to decorate that, so I'm going to be playing with some things, and I ultimately end up stamping on this pocket. I thought these would be pretty and this wood veneer would be pretty, but I didn't really like how much it covered up the picture of us. I didn't mind having something on the picture, but I didn't want it to be covered too much. So you're going to see me do a couple different things. I'm going to pull out a couple different things from my stash. These are some snowflakes that I stamped on vellum and heat embossed. I don't like how this looks. I don't know, it just wasn't doing it for me. So I thought I would pull out some of my stamps, and I decided that it would be nice to stack 3 words from the stamp set on the envelope. So I think I pick Merry Christmas Magic, and then I will add that. And what I'm going to end up doing, I really like the gold, but I didn't know if I really wanted gold on this layout. I thought maybe I would pull out the silver embossing ink. So I do go in my drawer and I pull out silver for this. I just thought it'd be nice because there is some silver on the little Christmas tree that I added. So what I'm going to do here is I took my little powder tool before I embossed on here, and I put that all over the bag because I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any static and the embossing powder wasn't going to stick to this bag. I'm going to use my Versamark ink to stamp this, and I like this this Stampin' Press. I'm not sure if that's what it's called or not, but it's from Fiskars, and it's got these little foam feet on it, and so it helps you if you're trying to line something up really well. It helps you to line it up before you actually stamp it down, because you just squish down those little foam feet and then it will stamp. And then the stamp surface itself is a little bit flexible, and I think sometimes that gives a better impression of your stamp as well. So I really like how this turned out. I'm just taking a little paintbrush to rub off any extra that didn't come off when I tapped it off. And then I will pull my heat tool over and I will emboss this. So I think that turns out cute. I really like how that looks. I'm going to audition my photo back in there. And I like that. I mean, it definitely obviously covers up our faces, but it's just not as, a big of a embellishment on the front. So I like how that looked. I did try a couple different things. I ultimately added that little star, the red star on here, and I like how that looked. The snowflake would have been pretty, it was just too big, and I thought that the little red acetate star would be best. So I'm just going to glue that down. I am going to use a glue dot. For these type of embellishments, I find glue dots are really the best option. I don't think the liquid glue works so well. They tend to pop off, so the glue dot seems to be a little bit more safe to stay on that, especially since it's going to be outside of a page protector. So I'm just going to make a template here so that I can punch out things that do not have holes. And I just use a scrap piece of cardstock for this, and I'm going to use this clip here just to make sure things don't move while I'm punching it. I don't have one of those 6-hole punches. I could get one, but this works just fine. I don't mind doing this. Since I have a template now, it's not a big deal. Now I was a little worried about the bag ripping in the rings, so I am going to take these little circle, what are those called? Hole reinforcers, and I'm going to add these in the bag. I did take just some white hole reinforcers and I added some tea dye distress ink, or maybe it's vintage photo. Yeah, vintage photo distress ink on those because I thought that would look nice. I've had those in my stash. I use them in junk journaling and things like that a lot, and I think that would look good. Now I'm just figuring out what I want to put on the back of this one. Since my daughter is on the back here, I was thinking about just leaving it, but I couldn't leave it by itself. So I found this frame in my stash, and I really thought it was sweet. And it's kind of a shape that doesn't really fit in any pockets very well, so I thought I would take advantage of this open space and add it on. My daughter loves foxes, so I decided to add that, and then I layered the snowflake in the back, that little 10-cent piece of ephemera, and then another silver stamped snowflake that I had made. And I really liked how this little label looked too. So now I'm going to pretty much glue everything down like you see it here. And then I am going to add a word strip there on the little label strip. So you'll see me doing that here now. And I really think that is sweet. And it is outside the page protector, so I just make sure I really add enough adhesive down so it doesn't go anywhere. And I think that turned out really cute. I'm super happy with this. Now I'm just going to put that in the album, and then I'm going to work on day one. Day one is going to be relatively simple. I am just going to use that little white chipboard 1 there. It is a photo of my daughter getting her chocolate out of the first day on her advent calendar, and then Izzy, our elf, among the little tiny houses that we have on our, what is it called, the mantle. Here is a packet of little vintage ephemera that I had. I can't remember if I purchased this last year or I got it in a swap. I can't quite remember. But it's little stickers and stamps and things like that from probably 80s or so, maybe a little bit newer. And I really wanted to use these on this page, so I kind of played around, and ultimately I didn't end up using anything from these little envelopes. I thought this little bear gift tag would look really cute. It just was too much, just too overpowering. It covered up too much of that star, and I thought that star would be really cute on there, so I don't use this. So I'm going to scrap that idea. I am going to end up using one of the stars, but I'm just not going to end up using the label. So I will look through some of my sticker books here, and I find one that looks like a little stamp and has a wreath on it, and it has some blue in it, and I thought that blue worked nicely with the colors in my layout and pictures. So I'll get that here in a second. So it's right there. It's the one with the little border on it. So I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to see, I kind of want to, the other reason I was trying to put something up there is one, it's just kind of boring up there, but I also want to cover up that vent and the light in the top right corner. So I was trying to figure that out too. So that was part of the reason why I was being picky about what I put there. So I do like that a lot, but obviously it's not covering up the vent. So I'm just going to figure out some other ideas. I thought maybe I would punch a circle out of this, but I just didn't think that would look right. And then I had these scrap pieces of paper that had punch out already, and I thought, well, I'll just do that. So I grabbed my dies and I ended up cutting some circles out. So you can see I just used this blue color. I thought it went well with the sticker, and I'm going to add that. and then I will bring in some gold thread. I wanted to mimic some of the things I've done on the other pages so far, and I'm just going to kind of try to put that down. This always gives me a fit, so I had to play with this quite a bit, and finally I kind of got it how I wanted to. I just ended up trying to glue stuff on the back and then kind of smush it on the back, and I finally got it to work. You can see me, I'm just trying to pick it up. It was just, oh, it was a pain in the butt. And then my fingers are sticking to the back and stuff. Everything was sticking but the thread. So I got it the way I liked it, and I think that looks cute. So I'm just going to add a star here. I did trim it out first just to make sure I was going to like it, and I do. So I end up pulling that off the backing, and then I'm going to pull out two more stars, this little gold one, then I'm going to pull a little mini wood veneer star out and add that as well. I tried that little snowflake, but I didn't think that was going to look very good, so I move on to the little wood veneer star. So this is just a little container that I have. I think I got it at Menards or something like that. It was perfect. It holds everything. It doesn't let anything slip out of the little squares or anything like that. So now I'm going to glue those down. And then I will trim out the excess on the top there with my scissors. And then I'll move on to the number 1 card, and I thought I really liked that scallop circle a lot, and I wanted to bring in some of that pink, so I ended up punching out another one or die cutting another one, and then I'll add that here to the left. I wanted to do something with this one. It was too plain, so I found this diamond or triangle, sorry, shape stamp set, and I'm going to end up putting some Versamark on this and embossing it with gold ink this time. Just using my little powder tool to make sure that it only sticks where I want it to stick. And then I'm going to carefully stamp this down. And I thought for sure this was going to be a mess just because I don't have a stamp, stamp block. But it ended up turning out okay. So I just tap that off, pour the excess back in the container, and then I will heat emboss that. And I like how that looks a lot better. Just was a little too plain without anything on it. And I think this looks good, and it goes with the rest of my layout and the gold thread that I used earlier. So I'll show you that closer up so you can see what that looks like. Sorry, that was a little fast. And then I'm going to add some more thread here just to mimic the thread that's in that bottom photo. Just trimming off anything that looks a little funky, putting some adhesive on the back of that one and then sticking it down, and that kind of holds that thread in place. And then I will glue the circle on the photo or on the 3x4 card. So that is pretty much it for this layout too. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below. I'd love hearing from you guys. And other than that, I will hope you guys have a great Christmas. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.